What's up, friends? It's time to work on distance again. One thing that I've been noticing about my disc golf game is that I find very specific things that I like to work on, and whenever I end up doing that, I forget the other things that I was working on and then kind of go back into my old routines. And so it's important to get out and practice lots of different things. Sidearm, backhand, hitting gaps, approach shots, all these different things so that you can stay consistent in your game. You guys might not know this about me, but when I first started playing disc golf, I was pretty much a predominantly sidearm thrower. And that was because I played baseball in high school and I was gonna play baseball in college, but I ended up injuring myself. And so I started working on backhand and then honestly kind of lost my sidearm for a while. And it used to be such a big tool, and so I had to start focusing on it again. And recently I've felt like my distance has kind of been struggling because I haven't been able to put together all the parts. So today we're gonna revisit those parts because practice is important. Even though I've done videos on this before, it doesn't mean that doing other videos isn't beneficial, because we have to remind ourselves of the things that we did, because it's very easy to forget them, especially as we get distracted doing other stuff. So today we're gonna break down distance again. We're gonna hop into it. We're gonna work on this. Not only is this me teaching you guys, but this is also me teaching myself and reminding myself of the things that I need to do in order to throw further. So let's get into it. Just did a couple of warm-up throws, push the trespass out to 440, I think, and then push some of the other discs out to 400. But I wanted to mention something. I just saw a helicopter flying by, and it made me think about the disc, obviously, as the rotors are spinning. Here's something that's important to think about. The rotors that are spinning, they're lifting it up. They're keeping it in the air. And so as we generate spin on our discs, it helps to keep the disc in the air. But it's our pull through our hips, all that kind of stuff that generates that forward momentum. So we need a good mixture of both. We need to be pushing the disc forward, but we also need the disc to be spinning so that it can stay in the air as that power pushes it forward. So that's kind of the goal as I'm out here working on stuff, is generating good spin from my wrist action and the grip of my fingers on it that force it out and make it spin and all that kind of stuff, but also getting the power from closing off my hips and powering through. Those are the two things that we really want to do in order to get some good distance. For me personally, the biggest thing that I've had to adjust in order to get more distance is my footwork. I talk about this in videos all the time. And the cool thing about the footwork is that not only does it help you generate more distance, but it also helps you generate accuracy. You guys will have seen that in a video that I posted recently. If y'all haven't watched it, it's about not missing your line anymore, and it's all about your footwork. And I think that it's really easy for players as they are whether new to the game or they're just kind of stuck in their ways to almost point their foot at their target. So say you guys are my target and then throwing like that. But what that does is that takes your hips out of play. And our hips, when they're wind up, release with so much power that it just adds a lot more force behind the disc. So we're talking about that upward force from the spin and that force forward from our rotation and all of that kind of stuff. So if I'm coming at you like this, I'm already open. I don't have that much rotation from my body here. I still have rotation from my arm, but I don't have rotation from my body. And so as I approach you, I need to be stepping out here and then turning away, and then that allows me to generate so much more rotation and spin to get that power towards my target. And so I really want you guys to go out to the field, grab your phone or something, film yourself from the front like this, and think of your recording device as the target. If you see yourself stepping towards the target, you're not in a good spot. You want to be stepping off to the side and rotating through, because that allows your hips to engage and all of that. Now obviously the hips aren't the only thing that we need to include in our throw in order to generate power. One of the other things that we really need to focus on in order to generate power is obviously our quote-unquote reach back or our extension. And for me personally, I've talked about this in videos, but again, I repeat these things because not only does it get stuck in my head, hopefully it gets stuck in your head and helps you when you're out on the rounds and tournaments and all that kind of stuff. It's so easy for us to fall back into our old routines that we've been having for so long. I do it every single round, and so I'm constantly working on that. And so that's why I want to repeat these things to y'all. And one of the tips that I personally use as I'm thinking about the extension of my arm, I'm thinking about pulling my elbow in, okay? So it's easy to think, all right, I wanna get this disc as far away from my body as possible in order to generate the most pull through and pop through the power socket and all this kind of stuff, power pocket. But what you need to realize is that as you reach back, a lot of times it's gonna move your head back too much, which then like closes all this off. And when I talked to the overthrow guys, he made it a point to let me know that I was looking too far back. I was looking way too far over my shoulder. I needed to be a little bit more right here. And for me, that was because I was trying to reach back. I was trying to get this as far away as possible. But what I started to think about and started to implement was pulling in my elbow. If you think about this little joint right here, you can see that I'm pushing it and it's straightening my arm, but the rest of my body isn't really moving. If I'm right here and I think about extending and reaching back, it kind of tweaks me more. It does more with my shoulder than if I just think about pulling this in. So that's one thing that I've been doing as I've been throwing. As I pull it back right here, I think about popping my elbow in, and that will help generate that extension of your arm. So give that a try if you guys haven't. That's gonna be something that should help you out with getting more distance, getting the disc further away from you, and allowing you to pull it in and get more power in that manner. Now, another thing that I used to really struggle with that I've talked to y'all about before as well is what you do once you plant, okay? Because we need to think about, a lot of times I try and associate our body with other things that we might recognize out in the world, like say shocks on your vehicle or whatever. Our joints are almost a shock system. They're built in to relieve that like impact. A lot of times if we're jumping, we have our knees to relieve that impact. And a lot of times as people are coming up and throwing, they'll bend right here and rotate, which is something that I was doing, and you lose so much power into your knee. Now, somebody commented this the other day, and I definitely agree with this. You don't want to fully lock this knee because you could injure yourself. But you don't want to land on it and then just like lose all of your power into that knee by bending it, almost like a shock, like a spring that is just removing all of that energy. So as you come up and you step, you want to plant on it and almost think about pulling your heel down, which then pulls your knee down. There's lots of different ways to look at these things. This is what I was talking about with the arm as well. When you do this, you can think about planting your knee, or you can think about pulling your knee back. I just said planting your knee. You can think about planting your heel, which then in turn brings your knee in, or you can mentally think about bringing your knee in and that plants your heel. So whatever works for you guys to think about as you're out playing, try and implement those things. But what you want to do as you come up here, you want to lock it. You don't want to fully lock it because you want to try and prevent injury, but you don't want it to be too bent, and then you rotate on that. And you can bend that a little bit, obviously, to keep yourself safe, but the more you bend it, a lot of times, the more that forward momentum, that energy is going into the knee. So enough talking. You guys are over this. You want to see some throws. I'll be happy if I can push one out to 450 today. There's a trash can out there that's 400 feet away. I'm gonna throw a lot of these at that trash can, just as like an aim point, because a lot of times in the comments, people are like, you might be throwing far, but you're not throwing accurately. And it's like, well, yeah, a lot of times that is the case. So I'm gonna be aiming at that trash can, trying to either go over it or like close to it in the air. If I land at it at 400 feet, I'm happy, man, because 400 feet accurate, money all day, give it to me. So let's see what type of distance we can get. Hopefully get some accuracy mixed in there too. So the biggest thing that I really want to do while I'm out here, as I think about those three things, because I talked to you guys about a couple things, okay? We talked about the foot, we talked about the reach back. Obviously there's the pull through, there's so many other things to focus on, but I find that as you have too much to focus on, it kind of gets in the way and just messes you up. So my focus is to get my foot here, get my extension, and as I plant, to rotate and push that through. And I want to do it slowly, because otherwise, as you rush things, you kind of misplant or you force things a weird way, and it's just not good. So we're going to try and knock these out, see if we can get ourselves some good distance and some good throws. I got a lot of discs, but we'll show you some of the best shots. Stable up. That's a line. Yeah, so that's over 400 right now, and that was a sick line. Yeah, that drive is pushing. No! That's 400 too, it skipped off of the thing. If it hadn't hit that, like that got rid of so much spin and forward momentum. Yeah, that one's pushing too. Gosh! And they're all pretty close to that trash can, which is 400 feet accurate. That's an absolute smash too if it misses that, yeah. Dude, these are like, that trash can is 400 feet away. And these are, whoa. That drive is disgusting. What? Oh my gosh, let's go. That's probably 430, if not more. Guys, 460 feet with that turquoise Tiffany blue drive. I have 17 discs that I'm out here throwing. I found 16 and I was like, where the heck is that other disc? I looked through, I was like, wait, where's my drive? And I remember it being good. So I walked to the back. It was literally 60 feet behind that trash can on a dime. These drives are very quickly becoming my favorite distance driver, hands down. Especially as you beat them in, they just push and they're so sick. I want to throw one more time with all these. 460, I'm happy with that, man. I haven't thrown that far in a while. So that makes me happy, especially with something like a ride that's that overstable. I think it's a 0.3.5. Yeah, it's a 0.3.5. So I haven't thrown that far in a while. I'm feeling good, I'm feeling warm. Let's see if we can push up to 500 again. Yes, Sapphire record. Whoa, dude. Oh my gosh, that was insane. All right, so that Sapphire that we got a hold of, which is apparently a beginner disc, I threw 460. That's another topic in itself, y'all, but throw more understable stuff, man, or throw more overstable stuff that's beat in and doesn't fly overstable anymore, because you'll get more distance, if that's what you're looking for. But just wanted to end up closing off, just revisiting everything again. Focus on that foot placement, that's huge. Really allowing your hips to get a lot of action is gonna create that rotation in your body that's gonna help you with your pull through and all that kind of stuff. And then obviously work on your knee and not allowing that to bend too much, getting rid of some of that power. Thinking about that reach back or the extension, pulling in your elbow is something that's been working for me. And then also, as you guys saw towards the end there, I started really powering up on the throw. That's something you see Drew Gibson do. If you start to anticipate powering up, you're gonna get too much tension and kind of lock your arm and not allow it to get fully extended. So don't anticipate the pull through and the power until you're fully extended, or until you're extended as much as you want to be, because obviously if you're only throwing like 350, you don't necessarily need that. You don't always have to fully extend. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I love y'all. I'm gonna continue doing videos on this because it's something that I have to remind myself of too, all the time. And you guys need to continue reminding yourselves until we're all out there on tour. Thank you for watching. I love you guys. Appreciate all y'all's support. See you on the next one. Peace out.